Picture this. Me on a rooftop, sunglasses at night, screaming at the moon. Not howling, mind you, just standing there in my pajamas looking like a madman. The neighbors must have thought I had lost it, but there I was, under the vast expanse of the night sky, feeling a mix of frustration and desperation. The moon, a silent witness to my plight, seemed to mock me with its serene glow. Screaming, "You!" I yelled, shaking my fist. It was a primal scream, one that came from the depths of my soul. The kind of scream that you let out when you feel the universe is conspiring against you. I was angry, not just at the moon, but at everything that had gone wrong in my life. You owe me money. It wasn't a full moon, not even close, just a crescent, a mere sliver of light in the dark sky. But in that moment it felt like the moon was the root of all my problems. I pointed at it as if accusing it of all the misfortunes that had befallen me. More like a shy sliver peeking out from behind a cloud, as if embarrassed by my outburst. The clouds moved slowly, partially obscuring the moon, making it look even more mysterious. It was as if the moon was playing hide-and-seek with me, teasing me with its elusive presence. But in that moment, bathed in its pale light, an idea struck me. It was like a bolt of lightning, a sudden flash of inspiration. I stood there frozen, as the idea took shape in my mind. It was crazy, but it just might work. An idea so crazy, so brilliantly absurd, that only a mind fueled by caffeine and despair could have conceived it: selling Moonlight. I grabbed a notepad and started jotting down my thoughts. The more I wrote, the more excited I became. This was it. This was my ticket out of the mess I was in. To vampires. You see, I'd just lost my job. Long story, involves a rogue mime and a very unfortunate misunderstanding with a garden hose. It was a bizarre series of events that led to my unemployment. And now, here I was, trying to come up with a plan to make ends meet. Rent was due, my stomach was rumbling, and the only thing shining brighter than my future prospects was that little sliver of moon. I was at my wit's end with no money and no job. The moon seemed to be mocking me with its calm and steady light. That's when it hit me. Vampires. They love the moon, right? I mean, they come out at night, they thrive in the darkness. Surely they would appreciate a little extra moonlight. The idea seemed so absurd, yet so perfect. It was like a light bulb going off in my head. Maybe they'd pay for a little extra. I could package it, sell it as a premium product. Moonlight in a bottle. It sounded ridiculous, but in my desperate state it was the best idea I had. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe it would work. The moon, my silent companion, seemed to nod in agreement. Now I know what you're thinking. Vampires? Moonlight? Has this guy been hitting the garlic juice a little too hard? Hear me out. Everyone knows vampires are obsessed with the moon. They howl at it, they turn into bats under it, some even sparkle annoyingly in its light. But here's the thing, they can't enjoy it, can't get a tan, can't have a moonlit picnic without packing a cooler full of O negative. Tragic, really. That's where I come in. I, the benevolent moonlight mogul, would provide a valuable service, delivering concentrated pure moonlight directly to the undead masses. Think of it. Moonlight bottled, canned, maybe even on tap. The possibilities were as endless as a vampire's lifespan. First things first, market research. Turns out finding vampires isn't as easy as you'd think. Who knew they weren't listed in the phone book? After a few awkward encounters, garlic-flavored breath mints anyone, I discovered the wonders of the dark web. Turns out there's a whole online community for nocturnal beings. And were they interested in Moonlight? Let's just say the message boards lit up faster than a disco ball at a vampire rave. They had needs. They had cravings. They were tired of looking paler than a ghost at a snowstorm. I knew I was onto something big. Next challenge, capturing the moonlight. I started small with buckets left out under the full moon. Romantic, sure, but not exactly efficient. My landlord wasn't thrilled with the sticky residue either. I needed to up my game. Cue the montage nights spent hunched over blueprints, learning astrophysics from questionable online tutorials, and finally, the triumphant launch of my very own custom-built moonlight harvesting satellite. Sure, it looked suspiciously like a disco ball attached to a weather balloon, but it got the job done. Moonlight, now in industrial quantities, streamed down from the sky and straight into my patented moonbeam bottling plant, formerly my garage. Business was booming. Every good product needs a catchy slogan, and mine practically wrote itself: Moonlight. It's not just for werewolves anymore. I offered different packages. New Moon Sampler Pack for the budget-conscious, Full Moon Fiesta for the party animals, and the exclusive Blood Moon Deluxe with added sparkle. Vampires, they're just as susceptible to marketing gimmicks as the rest of us. Word spread faster than a rumor in a crypt. Soon I was practically swimming in bat-shaped currency. Turns out, vampires are surprisingly good tippers, especially when you're offering them a chance to finally achieve that elusive sun-kissed or moon-kissed glow. Looking back, I learned some valuable lessons from my little moonlight hustle. Lessons that apply to life, the universe, and everything. 1. Always look for the gap in the market, even if it's in the night sky. 2. Never underestimate the power of a good slogan, especially when targeting a niche audience with specific needs. 3. When life gives you lemons, add garlic and sell it as a vampire repellent. Then pivot to Moonlight when the repellent inevitably fails. Most importantly, I learned that even the craziest idea can succeed if you're passionate enough and completely delusional enough to see it through. So there I was, king of the Moonlight, rolling in more cash than I could count. It was a surreal experience, standing under the moonlight, feeling like I owned the night. The money kept pouring in, and I felt invincible. Which, admittedly, isn't saying much. Math was never my strong suit. Life was good, until it wasn't. I was living the high life, but deep down I knew something was off. The numbers didn't add up, and I couldn't shake the feeling that my empire was built on shaky ground. Remember those vampire message boards? Turns out, word travels fast in the undead world. And soon, I wasn't the only one cashing in on the Moonlight craze. The forums were buzzing with activity, and it seemed like every vampire with an internet connection wanted a piece of the action. Competition was fierce, with startups offering everything from moonbeam smoothies to lunar-powered tanning beds. These new businesses were innovative and trendy, and they quickly gained a following. My once thriving empire was now facing serious competition from all sides. Then, the final blow, a hostile takeover. It was a dramatic, intense affair, with boardroom battles and backroom deals. I tried to hold on, but the pressure was too much. Led by a charismatic count with a penchant for velvet waistcoats and a surprisingly good business acumen, the vampires bought me out. He was smooth, persuasive, and had a vision that captivated everyone in the room. I couldn't compete with his charm and strategy. All of it. The satellite, the bottling plant, even my collection of glow-in-the-dark rubber duckies, don't ask. It was a humbling experience, packing up my office and watching as everything I had built was taken over. But, in the end, I learned a valuable lesson about the fleeting nature of success and the importance of staying grounded. I was devastated. My empire, built on moonlight and sheer audacity, gone. It felt like the end of an era, a dream shattered into a million pieces. I had poured my heart and soul into that venture, working tirelessly under the moon's gentle glow, believing that nothing could ever bring it down. But life has a funny way of surprising you, doesn't it? One moment you're on top of the world, and the next, you're left picking up the pieces of what once was. The silence of the empty office was deafening, a stark contrast to the bustling energy it once held. The moonlight that once inspired me now seemed to mock my downfall, casting long shadows over my failures. But the vampires? They were surprisingly decent about it. I had always imagined them as ruthless, cold-hearted beings, but they showed a level of empathy that I never expected. They didn't gloat or revel in my misfortune. Instead, they offered me a hand, a gesture of goodwill that I couldn't ignore. It was as if they understood the pain of losing something you had worked so hard to build. Their smiles, though sharp and fanged, were genuine, and their laughter, though eerie, was comforting. They welcomed me into their fold, not as a rival, but as a potential ally. Turns out they admired my entrepreneurial spirit, my innovative techniques, and most importantly, my extensive knowledge of garlic-free delivery options. Who knew that my quirky little niche would be the key to earning their respect? They saw potential in my methods, a way to integrate my ideas into their own operations. I found myself giving presentations, sharing my insights on market trends and customer preferences. It was a strange but exhilarating experience, standing before a room of vampires, discussing business strategies and the importance of garlic-free zones. They listened intently, nodding in agreement, and I realized that I had found a new purpose. They offered me a position in their newly formed corporation, Lunar Lux. It was an unexpected twist in my journey, but one that I couldn't refuse. The name itself was a nod to my past, a reminder of the moonlit nights that had shaped my career. The contract was clear, the terms fair, and the opportunity too good to pass up. I shook hands with my new colleagues, feeling a sense of hope that I hadn't felt in a long time. This was a chance to rebuild, to start anew, and to prove that I still had what it took to succeed. My title? Assistant Regional Manager of Moonlight Acquisition and Bat Guano Disposal. It wasn't the most glamorous position, but it was a start. I donned the company polo shirt, clipboard in hand, ready to tackle my new responsibilities. The work was different, but it had its own set of challenges and rewards. Managing inventory, overseeing Moonlight acquisition, and yes, even dealing with bat guano, all became part of my daily routine. It was a far cry from my previous role, but it was honest work, and it gave me a sense of purpose. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. The paycheck was modest, but it was enough to keep me afloat. I learned to appreciate the small victories, the satisfaction of a job well done, and the stability that came with a steady income. Paying bills, managing expenses, and saving for the future became my new focus. It was a different kind of success, one that wasn't measured by the size of my empire, but by the peace of mind that came with financial security. And hey, at least I still got a lifetime supply of free Moonlight. It was a small perk, but one that brought me immense joy. The Moonlight, once a symbol of my ambition, now served as a reminder of my resilience. I would sit under the night sky, basking in its glow, feeling a sense of calm wash over me. It was a connection to my past, a source of inspiration for the future, and a constant reminder that no matter how dark things seemed, there was always light to be found. So, that's how I became a temporary trillionaire and learned that even the most outlandish dream can come true. My journey had been filled with ups and downs, but it had taught me valuable lessons about perseverance, adaptability, and the importance of staying true to oneself. I had experienced the thrill of success and the sting of failure, but through it all, I had never lost sight of my dreams. And in the end, I realized that the true measure of success wasn't in the wealth I had accumulated, but in the experiences and relationships I had gained along the way. And sometimes it's even more fun to watch someone else turn it into a trillion-dollar empire. Seeing others succeed, knowing that I had played a part in their journey, brought me a sense of fulfillment that I hadn't expected. It was a reminder that success wasn't just about personal achievement, but about lifting others up and celebrating their victories. Watching the new generation of entrepreneurs take the reins, innovate, and push boundaries was inspiring. It was a testament to the enduring power of dreams and the limitless potential of the human spirit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a shipment of bat guano to supervise. It's not the most glamorous job, but it's honest work, and it keeps me grounded. Every day brings new challenges and opportunities, and I embrace them with the same passion and determination that once fueled my moonlit empire. The work may be different, but the drive to succeed remains the same. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll find myself at the helm of another great venture, ready to conquer new horizons. It's not moonlight, but it pays the bills. And in the end, that's what matters. Finding contentment in the present, while keeping an eye on the future. The moonlight will always be there, a guiding light in the darkness, reminding me of where I've been and where I'm headed. And as I walk away from the office each night, I carry with me the lessons learned, the memories made, and the hope that tomorrow will bring new opportunities and adventures.